Many people pride themselves on being sensitive, and many people don't like being sensitive. I'm too sensitive. It's either good or bad. So, is it good or bad to be quote unquote sensitive? Let's first of all try to clarify a little bit what might be by sensitive meant. One thing that could be said is that sensitivity, in the sense of receptivity, is the recipe of any and all possible greatness, possible accomplishments. Meaning, there has to be some way to influence me concerning some domain, some sphere, for there to be any possibility of advancement in that domain or sphere. To offer an obvious example, a rock cannot appreciate music. So the rock will never become a musician, right? There has to be something in me, such as can grow if it is watered. I have to have some kind of, to use that word, sensitivity here in the example for music or for art or for something else in order for experience to possibly potentiate that potentiality. We say that, to offer another obvious example, there's no amount of education that can ever have an animal speak in the way that people speak. Right? With a tremendous amount of effort, some higher primates have been taught some sign language, but it's nothing like what we can do. Presumably, it's because there is nothing in other animals such that can be tapped by education in this connection. Right? And if there's nothing there, then it can't be brought out. I don't have wings as a person, and therefore you cannot teach me how to fly of my own accord. A bird has wings, and assuming it is a flying type of bird, not like an ostrich, and assuming the wings are not injured, this and that, perhaps the bird can learn how to fly. So there has to be, again, something in each individual, such as can be brought out through experience. And if we would designate that by the term, sensitivity, receptivity, that is not just good, it's absolutely essential. Right? One of the great way to forecast what a child might accomplish is to see what speaks to him or her, what resonates with the child. Is the child naturally organized, or is naturally a leader, or it naturally um, asks questions and is curious, right? Meaning there's something there, and then we have to try to tease it out, flesh it out through education, effort, experience. What about in the negative connotation of the term? Here, presumably, a person would mean when he or she says, I'm too sensitive. By that would be meant that it's not simply that something resonates with me, it is that it affects me emotionally and perhaps in a detrimental way. So somebody says something to me, I make some kind of comment, and I think about it for days. It doesn't let me sleep. So that would be, or it could be, should we say, a negative sense of sensitivity because it disturbs our life. What does that stem from? Well, broadly speaking, it stems from self centeredness. When I relate everything to me, to my particular narrow niche in the world, to my interests, to my emotions, well, then I can be very sensitive in that way. That doesn't mean that it is sensitive in a constructive way, as in I'm being enriched, right? And I'm developing my potentialities. It just means that something disturbs me, right? Just like physically, if my body is feeling sensitive, it can hurt to even get poked a little bit. Just so. Psychologically, if I'm particularly self centered in that present phase of maturation, then any little comment, any little slight, any little criticism can really get to me, right? Because I'm kind of raw. Right? I haven't really crystallized a robust individuality such that can resist those little setbacks. So that would be a negative connotation of the term sensitivity, and the solution would be decrease self-centeredness. Think of oneself in more objective terms. When I hear of something, ask simply, is it true? That's it. Right? In some cases, it can be appropriate to ask, and how does that truth impact me, right? What does that say about my life? For example, is it true or false that it is wrong to steal? Let's say I say it's true, and then I see, wait a second, but I'm stealing. Well, then I should apply that truth to my life, right? And cease to steal. But otherwise, I'm hearing of something in the news. I can just ask, what is going on and why is it happening and so forth without relating every single thing back to my opinions and my self esteem and such. So that could be one approach to sensitivity in the not so good sense of the term, but in the good sense, meaning the capacity to be influenced by things. That's great. We need that. We should, on the contrary, develop that. We should open ourselves up to be able to be influenced by, presuming in question are good influences, by as many things as possible, right? By music, by art, by truthfulness, right? By the kindness of others. If I have no capacity to cogitate the kindness of others, that's not good, right? It goes over my head. If somebody's nice to me, I'll be sensitive to that, be open to that, and then hopefully my personality will be enriched the more points of contact I can make with the world. So, there are some comments concerning sensitivity, and we can consider them. Thank you for listening.